Hello again. Thank you for joining me. My name is Ingrid, and as always, it is a pleasure to see you. Pleasure to realize that out of all the other websites you've chosen to visit today, you chose to stop in and chose to spend some time with me. Today, I want to talk about fitting in. I want to talk about the aspect of being different. Growing up in an island, I was one of three children. I was the eldest of three daughters. And I always felt different. The age differences between me and my sisters were 6 years apart. Literally, I was 6 years older than my second sister, 6 years older than my third. And for me, I spent a lot of time by myself, alone, not with anybody really to talk to. I did have friends. I did develop some friendships in the neighborhood that I grew up in, and those friendships were very valuable to me because I didn't really connect as easily as other people did. I was different, didn't make me better. I learned that years later that being different doesn't necessarily mean that you're better than other people. All it means is that you're different because you don't fit in a certain framework or format. I didn't fit in. I didn't fit in, and I didn't fit in because I didn't understand. There's a lot of stuff that was foreign to me. It's like coming out of the birth canal and you come out and the first thing the nurse does is slap your behind and you're like, what the? Yeah, it's a shock. It's a shock to your system. And fitting in is no different. How many of you do not fit in? How many of you feel like you're different? How many of you know that you're different? Feeling that you're different is one thing, acknowledging that you are different is another. Being different is not a bad thing. It does not mean you're an aberration. What it means is that you're a unique being and that there's something so peculiar about you that is not a bad peculiarity. It's something that is really good. You are different because there's only one of you. You may have similarities to other people. You may have identified with other people at some point in your life, but something inside of you says, I am different. I'm not like everyone else. How do you address that? How do you address the feeling of being different and still trying to operate in a world where everybody wants you to act like you're just like them? How do you do that? Many of us decide that we're going to assimilate, meaning that we're going to capitulate and give into society or the groups or the peer groups or wherever we are. Others of us stay outside and don't know how to engage and how to become part of something. So we decide we'll rather, be different, but not that different where people are going to call you weird. And if they do call you weird, what's wrong with that? Weird doesn't necessarily mean that is a bad thing. Weird does it means that it's something that people do not understand. I was not always understood as a child. I didn't even understand myself. How complicated is that? It is one thing not to be understood, but it's another thing not to understand yourself or understand who you are, what your motives are, what your intentions are, what your beliefs are, what you want to do with your life in this realm. So being different is not a bad thing, but it raises a lot of questions. Are you supposed to fit in? Do you want to fit in? Have you decided to fit in and still feel like you're different? I remember one of my first experiences coming to America when I worked at a large corporation, and I had never been to a bar. I've never been to a bar, never had a beer. And I think everybody I was with thought that was hilarious, especially coming into the American culture where everybody bar hopping is a thing. So I remember sitting at the bar and I remember drinking the beer and I remember laughing at jokes that I did not understand or, trying to just fit in, trying to seem like I was normal. Like my son would say, act normal. So I was acting normal, but I still didn't feel like myself. I felt like there was a disconnect. So trying to fit in sometimes you feel like there's a disconnect and you're trying to bridge the gap with that disconnect. But that disconnect does not mean that there's something wrong with you. That disconnect does not mean that you have to force yourself to assimilate or to fit in. What that disconnect means, it means actually that you have to figure out who you are and where you're going. It doesn't necessarily mean that the path that's before you is the path you need to take. And a lot of people make that differentiation, and they're wrong. I don't have to become like the girl next to me. I don't have to become like my mother. I don't have to do the things that my parents did. I don't. I can choose the best parts of them and decide to take those best parts and to build upon that foundation. So fitting in is about learning yourself, is about actually realizing who you are and realizing that you are a unique being. What does it mean to be a unique being? I believe I'm a unique being. I believe that most people in this realm are unique beings. But how do we differentiate between uniqueness and ordinary people? What are ordinary people? Are there such a thing as ordinary people? Well, I propose that they are. Ordinary people are the people that decide that they don't want to be different, that they don't want to stand out in an awkward way, that they don't want people saying, oh, calling them names and saying, you're a nerd, or you're this or that, or you're shy, or to put labels on you. A lot of people decide that instead of taking that route, they would rather take the route of becoming one of the general population instead of standing alone. Is it easy to stand alone? Is it easy to say that I don't fit in and I will continue to be unique? No, not at all. Is it possible to do that? 100%. What's the value in being unique? What's the value in being your authentic self? What's the value in finding yourself in the midst of a society that tries to tell you who you are? How do you figure out who you are and what your purpose is? Everybody talks about purpose. But the one true purpose, I believe, is to find your spiritual essence, develop that spiritual essence, and live according to your spiritual and one true self. What is your true self? Your true self is who you choose to become after all the trappings and all the entrapments that this world has to offer. This world will tell you who you are. But the people that are different and choose to be the different and choose to be unique are the people who recognize who they are and who they want to be. Who do you want to be today? Do you want to be someone that people refer to as a sellout? Do you want to be that person that doesn't understand your friends, but you still hang out with them anyhow? Do you want to be that person that is married to a total stranger, and as much as you try to fix something, it just is not working? Are you constantly living with a disconnect in your life? Is that disconnect you? Because a lot of times people blame other people for the disconnect. But I think charity does begin at home, and that you need to check yourself. You don't have to fit in. You don't have to assimilate to a culture that you do not understand or a culture that does not denote who you are. You can stand in your true, authentic self and say, I am who I am. And may not know who I want to be, but I'm willing to take chances. I'm willing to take this to the next level and start pulling everything to myself that I believe I deserve. And every experience, every situation I encounter will help me become better for it. You don't have to give in and you don't have to give up. My name is Ingrid. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that you continue to join me on these segments. You can visit my website, thejourneyofTruth.com, for more information on seminars, workshops, books, etc. And if you like this video today, please like it and also encourage other people to like it and to visit the website. Again, my name is Ingrid. I hope that you will dedicate yourself to being your authentic self. You don't have to fit in. Why try? Bye.